Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Target exclusive, gold label, Defiance Deathstroke. This is a variant of Deathstroke in a black and white outfit. He was on a team from the story Defiance, where they all wore similar type outfits. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Corey for finding these for me. I've been shopping at the Corey Mart. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, McFarlane Gold Label Collection, DC Multiverse, Deathstroke. Here he's in the package. He has Deathstroke's signature staff, a collector's card, and a display stand. One side, Deathstroke from Defiance. Other side, simply says Deathstroke. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case it helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Deathstroke posed up with a sword. So no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting two of these Deathstroke figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. McFarlane has now released 4 different Deathstroke figures. We have the Rebirth Deathstroke, Defiance Deathstroke, Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and the all-gold Platinum Chase variant of the Arkham Origins Deathstroke. And Deathstroke being such a popular character, I could see them making a few more versions. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, Deathstroke's signature staff, and a removable knife from the holster on his ankle. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Deathstroke, Slade Wilson. He's in his Defiance costume, black and white, very different from what he traditionally wears. He was part of a team of different DC characters wearing similar type outfits. So let's take a look at him. Start with his head here, black and white, split right down the middle. His left eye's good, his right eye's missing, his signature look. He's got that cape there, looks pretty nice. Outfit is just a bunch of black, white, and gray. Looks pretty nice, but definitely not your typical Deathstroke look. Looks like we've got double jointed elbows, nice texturing on the side of his sort of armor underneath the white part, double jointed knees. There's the knife that comes out of the holster. He's got this white cape. He has a little logo on his chest here, probably going to be the Defiance logo of sorts. Head appears to be the same sculpt as the Rebirth Deathstroke. Nice looking figure, but not a necessary variant. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Looks very nice. Kind of gives me a Two-Face vibe a little bit. Defiance Deathstroke. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. Here's a display stand. Typical McFarlane stand that we've seen a million times. Black perfect circle. It says DC on the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Deathstroke from the comics. He's in that black and white costume. Deathstroke, Defiance. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Here's the Defiance Deathstroke's collector card, next to the Rebirth Deathstroke's collector's card. Now let's look at his knife. Nothing too spectacular. It's a knife. It's got a black handle, a little bit of sculpt and detail, some wrap, grip. Blade looks decent. Here's Deathstroke holding his knife. And here he is, holstering his knife. Now let's look at his staff. It's long. It's all done in silver. Sculpt and detail is nice. It's different as the staff gets lower. Pretty nicely done. Here's Deathstroke holding his staff. He can hold the staff with either one hand or with two. Now I wanted to check out the reuse and differences between the Defiance Deathstroke and the Rebirth Deathstroke. Starting with the head. Identical, exactly the same, just painted different. Of course, this new Deathstroke has this big cape. Old Deathstroke simply had a holster for a sword. Looks like the torso, stomach area is completely different. The arms, at least the top half is different, but it looks like the bottom half to the hands is the same. And then going further down, the crotch and the legs and the feet are identical. So some reuse, but some significant differences as well. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 7.25 inches tall, which can translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, you can rotate from side to side. You can look up about that far, down about that far. Pretty nice range of motion there. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out just about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit less. The shoulder pads move above his shoulders. Don't really interfere too much with the articulation, but I notice it does restrict it a little bit. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering up that ugly gap. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows that go all the way in. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Ball joint his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another ball joint his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Getting a little bit more range of motion out of the waist than the torso. Legs, complete dozen splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. Legs go forward about that far. Back, not very much. Double jointed knees. Then his ankles here. Forward and back. Rotation. Tilt. Rock. And he has toe articulation. Here's Deathstroke, training in his dojo, getting ready for his next fight. And just a closer look at the Defiance Deathstroke. Pretty cool looking figure. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Deathstroke figures. Here's the McFarlane Defiance Deathstroke, next to the McFarlane DC Rebirth Deathstroke. And here he is, next to McFarlane's Arkham Origins Deathstroke, which is probably still my favorite McFarlane Deathstroke figure. Here are all four variations of McFarlane's Deathstroke: Rebirth, Defiance, Arkham Origins, and the all-gold Platinum Chase variant of the Arkham Origins Deathstroke. Can't wait to see which version they'll do next. I really hope one day they give us a classic Deathstroke the Terminator. Here he is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Deathstroke figures. Then, next to the Mix Max Deathstroke. And now, next to a couple of Mezco 112 Collective Deathstroke figures. And here he is, with my Mattel Deathstroke figures. Then, with the amazing Yamaguchi Deathstroke. And now, with a custom Deathstroke I made. This is Slade Wilson, in civilian attire, out of the costume. And here he is, with a DC Direct Ravager. That's Deathstroke's daughter. Here's my entire collection of Deathstroke action figures. I believe I have all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale. Now let's check them out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are all four of the different variations of Deathstroke McFarlane has cranked out so far. Like I said before, I really hope for his first appearance, Deathstroke the Terminator look. Then, next to the rest of the gold label Target exclusive figures, we have the Justice League Endless Winter Wonder Woman, Changing the Guard, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, Defiance Deathstroke, and the Black Adam movie, Black Adam with Throne. These all showed up at Target around the same time and are all Target exclusive figures. Here's Deathstroke, next to the most recent McFarlane acquisition I got. Here's the Amazon exclusive Batman Family 5-pack. And here he is, next to the most recent Build-A-Figure wave. This is the Speed Metal wave. Collect to build The Darkest Knight. Then, next to the Arkham City wave, collect to build Solomon Grundy. Then, with the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, Hush Superman and Rebirth Kid Flash. And now, next to the Target exclusive, 30th Anniversary Batman the Animated Series Batman. Here's Deathstroke, next to the third wave of Page Punchers. This is a Flash-themed wave, consisting of Atom, Flash, Gorilla Grodd, Kevin Cold, and Heatwave. And here he is, next to the second wave of Page Punchers. This is based off Injustice 2, Batman and Green Arrow. Then, next to the first wave of Page Punchers, this is a Black Adam wave consisting of Batman, Constantine, Superman, and Black Adam. And now, next to the recent Gold Label Walmart exclusive figures, Rebirth Shazam, Speed Metal Dark Flash, Nightfall, Azrael Batman Armor, and Parallax Hal Jordan. Here's Deathstroke, next to the Rebirth Deathstroke and the Court of Owl's Talon. And here he is, next to the Dark Knight's Metal Batrocitus and the Speeding Bullets Batman. Then, with the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold 2-pack. And now, with the Infinite Frontier Scarecrow, the New 52 Static, and the Future State Superman. And finally, next to the gold label McFarlane Toy Store exclusive paint variants of the Arkham Knight Red Hood and Scarecrow. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, he's a very nice figure. The black and white colors that really pop on him. Much different than your traditional Deathstroke. I'll have to admit, he's probably my least favorite of the 4 Deathstroke figures I have by McFarlane. Arkham Origins is my favorite, and the Rebirth one is a little bit better, as he's in the more traditional Deathstroke look. That is not to say this is a bad figure, it's still a very nice figure. His accessories are cool, we finally got a staff for Deathstroke. Sculpt and paint job are excellent, no issues there. Articulation is everything you would expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure, very similar to the Rebirth Deathstroke. If I were to rate this guy, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Like I said, my least favorite of McFarlane's Deathstroke figures, but that does not mean he's a bad figure. Still a very solid release. He was the figure I was looking forward to the most out of those 4 new Target exclusive figures. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.